Hello, everybody. It's Donna Cravata, and we're back for another Real 50 Over 50 interview. And this week, my guest is Wanda Cox. She's a fractional director of operations and a data advisor. She works with service based founders to turn chaos into calm through clean systems, clear metrics, and sustainable growth that doesn't require sacrificing your health, your energy, or your humanity. She's known for practical clarity, a warm pep talk when you need it, and just enough sarcasm to keep it real. Because growth that costs you your health isn't growth, it's just a slower version of breaking down. If your business is growing but you're running on empty, you're going to want to watch this whole thing. So, anyway, welcome, Wanda. We're going to have so much to talk about. And we met, my goodness, it's got to be 10 years ago at least, right?
At least, because I think I met you early in my entrepreneurial career, and it's
Yeah.
been a minute. Yeah, oh wow, it's been a decade
And
at least.
Jeannie's one of Jeannie's events, Jeannie Spira's events.
Exactly. Yep, because she was one of the first people I worked with when I started in this crazy life.
Yeah. So how did you get into this crazy life?
I kind of tripped over myself, to be honest with you. My working life, I started working. I was in corporate for over 2 decades, and I like to say they made me an offer that I couldn't refuse, also known as a riff. Um, and then it never occurred to me to ever go into business on my own. It just, the path was go to college, get a good job,
And stay there till
die
you
and
die.
retire. Exactly. And that was the plan. And when I got hired with Verizon, I was like, oh my God, you're all set for life. You just go
Hmm.
there and you'll be done. And
Yeah.
Verizon had different plans for me. So probably last 2 or 3 years before that happened, I had gone on a health journey of my own. And I started working with a coach who hired me as an assistant coach.
Hmm.
And so once my corporate life ended, he's like, have you ever considered doing this on your own? And I'm like, oh, that's an option. Because at that point, health and wellness was a thing, but it was still
Yeah.
fairly new. He was pretty
Yeah.
cutting edge.
It was
And
more hobby than anything else.
exactly, it was like, you grab a couple of your friends and you show some pictures and you show your meal plans. It was done. It wasn't the industry that it is now.
Yeah.
And I got certified and I loved it. It was so much fun. But I found that I ended up doing more of the back end stuff for all my friends who just like, I don't know how to get this to work.
Yeah.
And that came easy to me. And putting myself out there in other ways was a struggle.
Hmm.
So like I said, I just kind of tripped into it and I was like, oh, I know what they mean now when I say do something you love. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I still use skills every single day for my corporate world.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Once you know
still
how to
get the
build things.
memes and I laugh. I'm like, I remember that. And I
Yeah.
remember how I negotiated that and how I made it through that. So yeah, that will stick with me forever.
Yeah, building things is such an incredible and valuable skill that so many people just don't have.
For sure. And I think one of the biggest things I learned that I didn't know how valuable it was at the time was working virtually because
Mm,
we were so large. It was nothing to hop on a conference call with
mm,
someone in a different country
yeah,
and have team meetings that way and work with them. So when I started doing that on my own, it was second nature. I'm like, this is what I've always done. I laugh now for people who are more in the real world, brick and mortar, because I'm like, I have clients I've never laid eyes on in person.
hmm.
And sometimes I forget that. It's like it just feels so natural to me.
Yeah, same. Like when COVID hit, my world didn't change.
Exactly. Exactly.
It really didn't. I was like, oh well, I still don't need shoes. Life is good.
You're like, I'm good, thanks.
Yeah, and I had the same thing. I worked in large global law firms, so we were doing virtual in the 90s.
Yep. Yep. And it just kind of rolled over to that. So I'm thankful for that. I laugh. People are like, well, it kind of ended abruptly, but like you said, those lessons, they never leave. The skills you
No,
need
no,
are still
no.
usable. The things you need for your business, the workflows, the communication, the
Yeah,
visibility, all that stays the same.
yeah.
You're just doing it
Yeah,
on a different scale.
the trick is figuring out the things that change and the things that don't change and kind of having the two tracks going.
Yes. And my favorite part is doing the things because you want to and you should, not because there's some manual somewhere that says this is how we do it. And so how
Yeah.
we've always done it. And we're always going
Uh,
to do it. And I'm like, that's not how we play here.
yeah, yeah. Now, back in my law firm days, in a meeting, somebody actually said, "Well, we've been doing this since 1947 and it works. Why should we stop now?"
Exactly. You're like, would you like a PowerPoint presentation on why we need to stop?
And then my head exploded and they had to leave the room.
Yeah, I can't imagine your face at that point. It's like, did they just say that? Really?
Yeah,
Out
they said
loud? Did
that
they
and
know
they
we
meant
heard
it.
that?
They meant it. They
Of
meant it.
course. Yeah, we don't do that anymore.
No, no, everything is changing so fast. And like how is that all kind of playing out in your world?
It's a lot. There are obviously AI is a big thing. Um, People trying, and I'm still in the midst of trying to figure out where I want that to fit in my
Mhm.
world.
Yeah.
Um, the ethical issues, the resource issues, the issues with accuracy. It needs to be worked through, but I think there's some good stuff there. So I'm navigating how to add it to my own business. I'm working with my clients on how to do that. Um, I think that's probably the biggest change now. And also, kind of the economy. I know that as people have lost their jobs, they're looking to figure out maybe I do strike it on my own, kind of a very
Yeah.
similar story to mine.
Mhm.
COVID, I think, was a really big changer too, how people were doing business. I work with clients who had to go from being in person to being online. That was a major shift. I think now AI is a major shift. People throwing in the towel for corporate life and saying, you know what, I'm not doing that anymore, especially for women. They're like, I'm done. I don't want to play this game anymore.
Yeah. Well, it's harder and harder. But I really think for women in our age group, um, AI used properly is a gift.
I think so. I do think there is a role. I think the thing that I'm working with now is to figure out where. Because there are so many promises that it's gonna make your bed and cook your breakfast. And I think
I hate to
that
spoil this for you.
exactly, yeah, I think that's where people are getting lost. But I'm having fun with
Yeah.
it. I've built
It's
a
not a
couple of
Swiss Army knife.
apps. Exactly. So there's a role, but I don't do the whole over promising thing. Makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, you've got to keep control of it.
Oh yes, for sure. And know what you're giving permissions to.
Yeah.
If there was ever a time to read a fine print, it would be now.
Well, one of the things AI is really good for is you take that fine print and you put it into AI and you ask it to explain it.
Okay, no
I love
joke.
to get AI to cannibalize itself.
I actually just did that with a release someone wanted me to sign. I'm like, I'm reading this way. Am I missing something here? That is so funny.
Yeah, but I mean, as we age and we have less energy, less capacity, um, it's a way we can keep up
Yeah, for sure.
and
And I
and
don't
be
know if it's
relevant.
less energy. One of the things I harp on people is be mindful of where you spend that energy, because
Yeah.
so many things people are doing by rote, because somebody told them, because it worked for somebody else, um, and that drives me insane. And
Yeah.
so a lot of times it's because we're spending our energy on the wrong thing, and that
Oh,
gets people in
yeah.
big trouble.
I would say almost all of the time.
I
Yeah.
would like to
And
hedge my bets a little.
and like one of the things that I'm seeing is that people just they want to delegate it. They don't want to put their hands on the keyboard and like really learn how to harness the tools.
Mhm.
And that's the only thing that they really need to be learning now, how it works for them.
Yeah. I don't know. I think delegation, that's a whole nother conversation that we can have. Is
Yeah,
is a struggle for people
it well, the
in
thing
so
is
many
like
ways.
it, well, people delegate too soon because they don't understand their own processes. They don't understand where there's like a hole in their process.
Right.
And then they give it to someone else and say, do this.
Mhm.
And do what? Like, I don't understand what you're doing.
It's like,
What is your
okay,
position?
now what? Yeah. And
Like yeah, when
that
I
goes
started
back
my
to
business, I started as a VA
mm-hmm.
in 2006 when there were 50 of us in the world. I would take a piece of paper and I would turn it horizontally and I would put four columns on there. The first column was the task. The second column was I do this in my business. It makes sense. I should keep doing this. The next one was I don't want to do this and I don't know how to do this and I don't want to know how. And the last column was I never want to do this again. And I would not work with someone until they sat with that next to them for 2 weeks and wrote down every single thing they did throughout the day.
Wow.
Because you don't realize what you're doing. You're just you're in automatic mode and you're just getting things done. And you don't realize that you just did 50 things.
I feel like the choir music just started
Yeah.
because amen.
And now since they've called it quadrants and people have these different terms for that, but basically you got to know what you're doing.
That's big help.
Yeah, and the things that make sense for you to do and the things that don't make sense for you to do. And how many of those things are you just doing in a much harder way than you need to do? I mean, tools. You and I could probably sit and talk for 4 hours about tools.
Mhm.
People don't they buy the wrong tools.
Yes. But the commercial was so helpful.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
told me
so
all
I
the
bought it
things I
for a whole
needed.
year. No, don't start with a year.
Oh my, oh, calm down, Wanda. Yeah. No. Yeah. But it's so true. It all starts with diagnosing what the issue
Yeah,
is at first.
yeah,
It everything else after that is just gonna lead you someplace you're like, I don't know how I got here, but
yeah.
nothing feels better. And that is an awful place to end up. And
It
it's
really
because you just decided to keep on going. And if you don't take that time to say, I need this because,
yeah,
or this isn't my business because, you're just going to keep doing the same thing over and over again. And everyone's going to be a little bit angry,
yeah. Well, isn't that the definition of insanity?
without a doubt.
And now, like, the tools are changing so much. We really need to look at our tool stack and, like, do we still need these things?
Oh,
Or is there
without a doubt.
something, I mean, like one of the things that I keep seeing is that Google does things that I'm paying something else for.
Mhm.
So, over the summer, I'm going to be doing some adjusting with my tools so I'm not paying two and three times for the same thing.
Exactly. And it's one of the first places I start with people. People have, and I have been guilty of this too, because look, I love a good tool.
Yeah.
I will go and that is like my happy place. I will go in there and play and break and see just how far I can take it so I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
But people will have tools on top of tools. Places like AppSumo that make it so
So
easy
easy.
to get a lifetime deal, and they've
Uh-huh.
got a folder full of lifetime deals
Yeah, of
of
stuff they never use,
never use or
never
things that
even
all
looked
do
at.
the same, or can't even remember how to log in anymore because it's
Yeah,
just sitting in the
yeah.
in the
Or never
graveyard
logged in, or
somewhere.
never even logged in.
Exactly. And it's frustrating. We all like bright shiny new toys. I am guilty of that too, but there is a way to handle it. And actually knowing what you have is a great place to start.
Well, and what you need, like I will tell people, um, before you buy anything, before you even research anything, figure out what your needs are because, like one of the tools that people get caught up with all the time is project management tools. They'll
Mhm.
buy these tools that do all of these great things, but they need like four of them.
Exactly. Exactly. And you make a really good point. And it's one of the things I'm saying this to all my folks who go into Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, and say, what are you using for email?
Uh-huh.
And if you take nothing away from today, I want you to do this. That question is going to get you in so much trouble
Yeah,
because everybody has their favorites. You know, I
yeah,
use Kit and I use Go High Level, and they don't know your business. And so now you're sitting there with a list of 20 tools and no way to pick which one is best for you.
yeah.
So I'm imploring you, please stop doing that.
I mean, yeah, and I'm just going to piggyback on top of that and go high level is a great tool, but it requires customization.
Yes.
And I cannot tell you how many people I've worked with that bought Go High Level through some deal and throws through them. They're not paying for Go High Level, but they're paying to be in this community, and they've never even used the tool. They're still paying for whatever they used before that.
Mhm. Yeah. And I think it's okay um, to have a tool and not use it for everything. I don't
Yeah,
think that's a bad thing.
yeah,
So Go High Level will pretty much do everything but make your breakfast. But if you don't want to host your website there, then don't. There's still value there in the
yeah,
other workflows. And that's an approach that people, I think, they get stuck.
yeah,
Is it either don't use a tool or they determine if I don't use everything, then it's a waste.
yeah.
And that's not true either.
No,
It's like
no,
you can pick the best for what you need and also something to run with it because there's nothing I love a good backup and a good plan B. There's nothing with having a little diversity in your tools. The lesson for me is make sure you know why you're doing these things and you're doing it the most efficiently way you
yeah,
can.
yeah. And another thing that happens when you do a little tool audit is you might recognize that maybe you're doing some things you don't need to do anymore.
Exactly. Or doing it not the most direct way. Because if you got a tool that has to go from A to B to C, maybe that's not what you need anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot because we bootstrap when we start.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that is so common. It's like, all right, I just need to get my business up and running today. So I'm gonna
And
grab these things, and now it's up and it's running, and I'm making money. And that's a perfect time to say, okay, that got me here. Now let me evaluate what's gonna get me there. There's no shame in that. Matter of
yeah,
fact, it's a requirement to do that.
yeah, yeah. And the way that AI is going, I mean, we're all gonna have to come have our little moment with what we're willing to give control to, but it's gonna replace so many tools.
Yes. I am curious to see what happens next. I'm still in the middle. We got the people who say I'll never touch it, even though they're touching it now. They just don't realize it.
Yeah,
It it
that's
it you'd
that's
have
not
to
even
live in
realistic
a cave
anymore.
somewhere to think
Yeah,
that AI hasn't touched your life somehow.
yeah,
And then there are people who are like all in. It does everything for them. I'm somewhere in the middle as I
yeah,
kind of investigate what feels right for me. Not falling behind the curve, but also not buying into the hype. I think there's
yeah.
a nice little sweet spot for that.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I'm starting to venture a little more into automation things, but very, very carefully.
Mhm.
And
Smart.
yeah, and there's plenty of opportunity to set things up where it brings things to you and you finish that last stretch of the road.
Yes. Yes, that makes my heart happy.
Yeah.
Particularly, I know people are using it to automate content. That scares me. Um, because if you could very well publish something that you have no idea what it says, that doesn't fit your vibe, doesn't fit your theory, doesn't fit who you are, and now it's out there
It
live
could
and in
be breaking
person.
laws.
Well, speaking from the legal community, yes.
Yeah.
And that's just not a pretty place to be because you wanted to get your weekly blog
No,
out.
no. And I've been thinking about this so much recently, because this is where I'm really immersed in, how do we move forward with these tools, and how do we move forward with these tools, as women over 50.
Mm,
So that's a big crowd that don't really, they're not hopping on bandwagons. Um, but like, what, how do you own your voice and not give away, who you are in the process of trying to stay current?
mm,
And, how do you figure out which direction to go in because it's all moving so fast? And where are you at the point where you're putting, too much in one basket
mm.
because, well, I mean, remember Blab? It was there one day, gone the next, right? Who
Oh
knows?
man, that was a memory.
But who knows? You
Yeah.
just don't know. Everything's moving so fast. And I think that we really need to stay flexible and nimble and curious more than anything else, because there's so much opportunity here, and bigger companies are going to be wrapped up in red tape for a very long time. So people like us that need, I mean, we need to be realistic about what we need. We don't need a whole hell of a lot.
Mm, there you go. Just need to know what that need is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to me, that's the exciting part, that being able to kind of play around and
Yeah.
experiment and see what happens next. And it's funny, as I embrace that over 50,
Uh-huh.
almost 60 at this point, um, I
Even better.
always laugh. Yeah, as far as I can tell, it's getting better. I do think I know a lot of folks that I work with, interact with, are in that same boat. And I look at someone like my mother. My mother is 87 years old,
Uh-huh.
and she's got an iPad and she's got her iPhone, and she's in the middle of that. So I don't ever want to hear I can't do,
No.
because I'm like, they got my mother here, Miss Shopping Ninja,
Yeah.
who's pushing the 90s. So there is a place for us all, and age
Oh,
has
there
not a thing to
absolutely
do with it.
there absolutely is. And what AI does not have, doesn't have wisdom.
There you
It doesn't have a nervous system.
go.
This is what we bring.
Mhm.
And you can't outsource that.
No.
You need to bring it. You need to curate it, cultivate it, and bring it. And when you match the tools with what they bring, and you're bringing your nervous system and your, earned wisdom of decades and decades of it, it's unstoppable.
It is unstoppable. And I think we need to give ourselves permission.
Yeah.
I know as things change and we get new tools, there is this push like, I don't want to miss it. I don't want to fall behind. And I really hope that people take to heart that jumping into it because you're afraid you're going to miss something is a sure sign of setting yourself up.
Yeah.
And I hope people aren't feeling that pressure. It's okay to be curious. It's okay to have fun, to kind of dip your toes in. Um, but making decisions because you're fearful that you're going to miss some big wave, I really hope that that's not what's motivating people, because I don't think that's true.
It's not true. And the people that I see doing that are the people that are looking for quick fixes.
Mm.
And they're jumping into some, push three buttons and get 6 months worth of content in 12 seconds. And, that's attractive to them.
Right.
But that's a house of cards.
Mm.
That can't, that can't stand up.
No. Mm-mm.
And it's certainly not going to reflect who you are.
No.
And that's just going to fall into the sea of, I call it AI pond scum.
I'm also going to say AI Ponzi. They both work.
That works too.
But
That
it's so
works too.
true. My wish for everyone is that we remember why we're doing this.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. That is so good.
That's
And
it.
this makes it very easy to forget,
Yes.
um, because you get stuck in this swirl of, have to do this, have to do this, have to do this, have to do this, but you lose sight of why you're doing it, who it's for, why it matters, the changes that you want to make, and like when you stay rooted in that and you approach these tools from that perspective, coming like armed with your evidence, it's a whole different experience.
There you go.
And, just like you have to say no to a million other things in your life, you need to say no to these tools too.
Yep.
They want you to. They say thank you when you say no.
Well, they also like to agree with you, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Oh, not if you set them up right. Not if you
I
set them
know
up right.
I've started playing around with that because I'm like, look, I know I'm great. I
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah,
my
yeah, yeah.
greatness.
I already know that. I don't need you to tell me.
Exactly. But come on now. Let's slow down just a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's so true. But if you groom them properly, they're honest.
Yes. We need a little bit more of that.
Yeah, I mean, Claude tells me it's time for you to go to bed now.
Okay, let's take it personally. He did that to me the other day. It's like, okay, you can rest. And it went through all the things that I'd work on that day. It's like, you can rest now. I'm like, I'm not sure if I'm
No,
offended
there's
or
no,
supported.
no time for that.
Exactly. Things to do. It's my to-do list for today.
So I have a question for you.
Mhm.
You deal with a lot of chaos, obviously.
Yes.
So when you come in to work with a new client and you go through what they think is all hunky dory, and they're all like showing you all their things and are proud of what they've cobbled together on their own, what's the number one thing that you see that people get wrong?
Ooh, the number one thing. How do I say that? It is not a measure of success how many hours you worked last week.
Uh-huh.
I have yet to meet someone who's worked with me who does not work hard. The measure of success is the outcome of that. So if you're working hard and you feel like you're banging your head on the wall and you're not making progress, then that's the issue. So we start with, I get it. I know you're working hard, but what are you working hard on?
Yeah,
Let's start there.
yeah. So people are just doing things they don't need to be doing.
Yeah. Just it sounded good. It got them where they are. And that's a really tough conversation because here I come telling you, that's great. Now don't do that anymore. And they're like, but it worked. And I know. And I'm
Yeah,
so thankful for that. You
yeah.
did
Work
exactly what you
ED.
were supposed to do. Exactly. You did that perfectly. That's why I know that you're ready to go to the next level because you've already got a track record of success. And
Yeah,
this is what we're going to do to keep moving forward. Because I don't ever want someone to hear that as criticism. It's not.
it's not criticism.
It is
No.
not. It's like I admire the hell out of you.
Yeah,
You did your thing, and now
yeah,
we're gonna do this thing, and
yeah,
that's okay. And the thing that's just for you. I get that your mastermind buddy does A, but her whole situation is different than yours. So these are the reasons why I don't think that's gonna work for you.
yeah. And do they listen?
I have a pretty good track record. Sometimes you have to let folks discover on their own. Is a nice way to say it. And I'm there. I'm never going to say I told you so. I'm just going to show evidence. I'm all about evidence. So this is what we've done. This is what happened. What do you think about that? It's not my business. I'm here to support. So folks I work with, they get the final say.
Do you have to have a lot of sunk costs conversations?
Oh my goodness, yes. I frequently say I am the skunk at the picnic because they're all dressed up and they got their lunch and they're ready to eat. And I'm like, but you said you wanted to have pizza and you're having a turkey sandwich. Is that what you meant to do? It is cool. Not. We got a little problem. So yeah, there is a sunshine, and I think that's reasonable. When you're in, one of my favorite quotes is, "It's hard to see the label when you're in the jar."
Yeah.
And when you're in the midst of stuff, you don't see that stuff, and there's no shame in that.
Yeah.
That's where I get to come in and help.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that drives me crazy. So many people don't want to tell me things because they're embarrassed or ashamed,
Yeah.
and I don't want them to be,
No.
and they
No.
don't
It's
have
all,
to be.
and how many decisions are we making a day? I mean, just the random regular person makes 30,000 decisions a day, right?
Which is mind blowing.
Yeah.
Just what in the world we have to do
Yeah.
on a daily
Yeah.
basis.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how they came up with that number. If you think about it, just how intense that is.
Yeah. But people like us, we're making more than that.
I don't think I'd want to know.
But they're not all going to be good decisions.
Not at all. But it's the comeback, my friend. No one expects
Yeah.
perfection.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to be able to bounce back up like a weeble. Um, and,
Exactly.
and and we do, and we do. Otherwise, we wouldn't still be here all these years later, right?
Exactly. There's something to be said for that.
But there are no mistakes. Because even when you do something you shouldn't have done, you bought the thing you shouldn't have bought, connected with the person that was just totally toxic for you, whatever it might be, um, each one of those things comes with this set of lessons that takes you someplace you wouldn't have gone if you didn't do that. And when you start to look at it that way, it all changes.
Yeah, I think it does. As long as you look.
Yeah,
It's my own
that's
little
a good
caveat.
point. Yeah, good point. Oh my goodness. So, where does the snark come in? Does it come in like right at the beginning, or
When
does
does
he
the
have
what?
the snark?
Oh, I have learned to test the waters a little,
Okay.
because if someone is in a vulnerable state, things are a hot mess, and they're feeling overwhelmed and guilty, a snarky comment can really hurt.
Hmm.
And snark is not my snark. I can only speak for me. It is meant to lighten the load,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
to make it worse.
Yeah.
So I'm really mindful of, how I bring the snark in. But
I love this.
I will say, once I feel that there's green flags and there's a green light, then all bets are off. There's
It
just
really does escalate things, doesn't it?
yeah, it's
Um,
just
and like that moment when that click happens between chaos and well-being, a business that can support you, that can regulate your nervous system instead of turn it into like a jiffy pop machine.
oh, I
Um,
love that image.
like, how does that feel for you?
That is one of the things I had to learn, which I wasn't doing, is because people don't always see it or feel it because their nervous system hasn't caught up. So I will literally start writing down notes. Like, they told me they took a vacation or they went away
Yeah,
for the weekend,
yeah.
or they went to watch their daughter and they weren't worried about their phone.
Hmm.
So I help people to see the things that they might not have seen. People
Yeah,
will see, metrics are great. I love a good number, and I will put together a lovely report and color code it. People can see that evidence, but they don't always see the lifestyle changes. And for my clients, those tend to be the like really big light. It's like, oh, yeah. You're right. And I said that's what I wanted. Yeah, that's why I asked you when we started working together. What do you
Yeah,
want?
yeah,
That's not fluff. That's our goal.
yeah. That's good stuff. It's needed. It's needed. I mean, that's like an equalizer because everything is so next, 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 fast, 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 fast.
Right? Because we're just so used to just getting out there and getting it done. I know these folks are gonna work hard. I don't even have to ask that question anymore. It's what happens after.
Yeah. Well, it's, I hate to say it because it's so cliche, but it's working smarter,
Yeah. Well, you know.
It really is. And that's one of those things that doesn't change while everything else is swirling around you.
That's a great way
Right?
to put it. Yeah, there are
Yeah.
some principles that just don't change. You may
Yeah.
change how you get there, but the principles remain the same.
Yeah. I had to learn that early on because I was, early days social media and everything was changing. And what was one and two platforms was now 12 platforms. And you need to know them all. And then you're going to change every time you go to sleep or maybe before you go to sleep. So, like, I learned early on, there was one of the things that kind of grounded it all for me was there was a quote from 1938 about publicity from the first woman who was an ad executive in New York City in 1938. She said, advertising is what you pay for, and publicity is what you pray for.
Mm,
That was valid in 1938, and it's valid now.
there
So,
you
like,
go.
whenever I feel like things are spinning way out of my zone, I anchor back to that because I'm
Wow.
like, okay, so where was this going to be in 1938? Was it even in the conversation?
That's a great anchor, actually. That is really a good anchor.
And because I mean, entire industries changed since I started doing this,
Oh, yeah.
and it's not done yet. It's just getting started.
Yeah,
It's exciting. It's exciting.
it is.
Like there's days I'm like, this is the worst time to be doing all of this, and then there's days I'm like, this is the best time to be alive. I'm so excited.
And you think about, we're not the first set of people who had to go through immense change. This is just our change.
Yeah,
Um, and I laughed when you mentioned earlier about platforms that don't exist, and when you just said that, there used to be five, and now there's 2,500.
yeah.
And one of the things I just thought of that I always remind people, and I had to do this myself, you don't have to be on every platform, and you don't have to be available everywhere. And I had to learn you don't have to be available everywhere lesson because I can't keep up with text messages and
No,
direct messages on every social media platform. So it is okay for you to say, these are the places
yeah,
that you can reach me.
yep,
Do you have a preference?
yep,
Otherwise, things get missed. Your nervous system is like this. I'm
yeah.
going to use that Jiffy Pot. That is like the perfect example. That's, I'm just tucking that away, just so you know.
Yeah,
Um,
and I mean, I think I'd love to hear your take on this as well, is that people people have these expectations that they need so much more than they actually do for what they're trying to build. So, one of the questions I ask clients is like, what do you actually need? Like, let's figure out what you need first, and then we'll reverse engineer it to figure out what we need to build.
mhm.
But they just go, they think that the biggest is the best, the most expensive is the best, the one that IBM using is the best.
It has to
You
be the
don't need
best.
that.
Exactly. They use it. Why not me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That or everything is an internet marketing business, and it's not.
That's so true. It's like, who did that?
Who did that? I could give you a list.
We'll talk later. I'm sorry. I think I might have
But
missed a question in there.
most people just need really simple businesses.
Yeah. And it's something that you should revisit from time to time.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And I think that's where we get in trouble. It's like we thought that it was okay, and it was okay for then.
Yeah.
And here we are 5 years later, and we're still doing the same thing and wondering what happened. And it's okay. You know, I know I keep saying this, but I think it's so important to remember it's okay to evolve. That doesn't mean what you did before was wrong.
Yeah.
They are not related.
Nope. But we have to get past, going back to how we started this conversation. You go to college, you get a job, you retire, you die. I
Yeah.
mean, and we have that programmed in the back of everything.
Yep. Yeah.
So, if you change 3 or 4 times, what's wrong with you? Why can't you stay still? Why can't you do one thing? When are you going to get a real job?
Still trying to describe to some people, not in the online world, what I do.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's okay. It'll
yeah.
be all right. That does not show my value because they don't understand.
They won't get it. They
No.
won't get it.
And that's all right.
Yeah, I spoke to somebody that I worked with at a law firm, and it's been 20 years since I left. And last year, the firm got acquired by another firm, so a bunch of people lost their jobs. So, like, the people I worked with, they're now there 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to a woman that lost her job a couple of months ago, and she's just totally, untethered. And she was complaining about all the things that we complained about 20 years ago. And I just went tough love on her. And I was like, please don't take this the wrong way, but you need to snap out of this phase. And I'm happy to help you, but like there's opportunities out there that you have no idea exist, but you can't stay in that space of complaining about things from 20 years ago when people, I don't even remember their names. Like you got to let all that go. It's over.
Yeah.
And let's figure out what you can take with you and bring somewhere that actually needs your skills.
What a concept. And I get it. I needed a little time to be angry and bitter.
Yeah.
And then, the watch me kicked in. That was fun. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, I
Yeah.
got this.
Yeah.
Watch
Yeah.
me.
Watch me.
And there's a little competitive streak in there somewhere.
Yeah. Um, that still pops up every now and again.
Yeah.
But you've got to move on and like figure out what's next. And the thing is there we can make any opportunity that we want,
Yes.
which is a nice place to be.
It is. It is. And nobody can take that away from you.
They could try.
But you ain't got to give it to them. You don't have to give it to them.
Oh, okay. We went over time as I knew we were going to do because I could talk to you all day long. But we need to wrap this thing up here. So anyway, everybody connect with Wanda Cox. This is her website. She's doing incredible work. She's helping people have real businesses that don't crush them in the process. And each of those businesses is helping other people. So her work just compounds with every client she has. And if you are watching the replay, you've got questions, comments, tag us. We'll come back. We'll keep the conversation going. And I like to end these with a wisdom bomb, something small and actionable people could take with them. What do you have for us, Wanda?
Oh, wisdom bomb. No pressure there.
No pressure there.
It's okay to change your mind. I think some people are so committed to the decision that they made that they just keep making the bad decision over and over again. Don't wait for me to come and say, are you ready yet? It's time.
There's a whole big world out there. Just go do it.
It's time.
Love it. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
And we will be back on June 1st with more. And we've got interviews booked all the way into the fall. So keep coming back and keep meeting these incredible women that I'm gathering. Thank you, Wanda, and everybody have a great rest of your Wednesday.
Thanks so much, Donna. I love what you've put together here.
Oh, thank you.
Take care.